Hey friends, no good deed. You can probably fill in the blank to that, right? Goes unpunished. No good deed. Jesus is going to talk about in today's Beatitude in Matthew 5:10. You should read Matthews 5, 6, and 7 every day that we're doing the Sermon on the Mount. We're going to be in it for a while. But we're going to talk about this idea. No good deed goes unpunished. There's a really good reason for it. But here's what it says in Matthew 5:10. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. He says that right off the bat. He teaches there's going to be a cost simply for doing good, for doing the right thing. And I'm sure that you've experienced this before. There's a reason why it's so hard to get little kids to listen, right? It's not the popular thing to do. They look around, they see their friends doing, being ornery, and it's like, ooh, let's do that instead. But if they do try to listen and to do what the teacher or the parent or whatever is asking, right, they get called maybe like a goody two-shoes, or they get made fun of, a teacher's pet, right? There's certain phrases that I'm sure that you and I have labeled people as. And then you get a little bit older. Maybe somebody becomes a follower of Jesus and they begin to explain, yeah, I don't do that. I don't talk that way. I don't engage in certain activities. And, they get labeled as, what, you think that you're better than us now? What's that? And so I think, again, there's a reason why a lot of people begin to follow Jesus, and it doesn't last very long. Or the pressure gets to them from people saying things. Recently I was looking at a study, and I couldn't even tell you where, but it was this little test that they were doing on a college campus, to where there was 3 lines on a piece of paper, and 2 of the lines were really close to the same length, and one was half the distance as the longest one. So you can picture that. And then in groups of 10, they would have people come in. 9 of the students were a plant, and 1 was the purpose of the test. And 80% of the time, when they asked, and the 9 that were plants went first, they said that the longest one and the shortest one were the same length. That's the question that was asked: which 2 are the same length? 80% of the time, the one that didn't know what was going on, the one that the experiment, would agree with everybody else. They didn't have it in them to go against, or to go against everybody else, to say what they knew to be true. There's just something in us that wants to fit in. And this is one of those things that makes being a follower of Jesus so difficult. Is because we have a need, right? There's an inherent need that people have, that we want to fit in. We don't want to be called out. We don't want to be made fun of. But Jesus, he was upfront about this. He says, blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. He said there's that, while that may not feel like it, there's a blessing that comes when it's going wrong because you did the right thing. He said theirs is the kingdom of heaven. They're the ones that understand what the kingdom of heaven is like best. And you see that in Jesus. He was persecuted for righteousness, all the way up until to his death on the cross. And in doing so, he set the example for us, most of whom will only have to deal with getting made fun of. But this is what he taught. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness. You understand the kingdom of God in a way that most people never will. And so just understand, no good deed really does go unpunished. And that's okay. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.